Hey guys, welcome to Jeep Sheep TV. I've got a friend with me. Tell me, one, what is your name, what you drove here, and what's broken?
Alright, my name's Taylor. I drive a Jeep CJ7. It's a 1981 304 V8. What's broken? Since I bought the kickdown cable, it's been disconnected. So today we're going to put a new kickdown cable in and hopefully get it tuned in and working.
Alright. This rubber seal. Don't forget this. You need these. In a star pattern.
Alright, and also, if you remember, I recently posted a video about the kickdown or throttle valve cable on my YJ. This is a really similar system, and you can watch that video to see why it's important that we put this back in this Jeep and how it's going to affect the transmission. I explain all of that in there. So, tune in for that video and watch what we do here.
Kickdown cable comes from the carburetor, comes down here, and it's attached to a switch. It goes to the transmission. There's a little return spring. What we're doing is we're undoing the attachment for the cable to the switch. So I had to pull a little cotter pin and a pin, and it comes right out like this. Can you see it?
Yep.
And there's a little stopper, which we're going to have to improvise something for that because I forgot. And we'll pull this cable out, probably from down here. And that'll be that.
That'll be that. Alright, don't lose this socket because it's a metric 10. But I think you can see it right here. This is sliding right on top of this little screw right here. And it's going to release the throttle valve or kickdown cable for us. That's really loose. So we can handle it manually. Can you hold this? And we're free. Just like that.
So like I said earlier, we're going to have to pull from down here because we have this little clamped end. So it's not going to go through the actual line. So we're going to have to pull from down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
It's not going, huh?
Nope.
Okay. That's cool. Do you want to cut that fitting off? And we can try pulling from the top?
Oh, we could do that. Alright guys, so for some reason it was kind of kinked up in here or something. So we weren't able to pull it from down. So what we did, so we undid both ends. We cut the end off the old line, and we
there it is.
we just pulled the whole cable out, and me and Liam just kind of worked together and pulled it right out of the line. And so we're gonna try to fish the new line through. We're gonna put some grease on it. Hopefully it goes through. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly caused it to hang up inside there. And that's pretty much it.
Let's take a look at that for a minute. You got some kind of tape on there,
yeah. So
right?
the guy taped it up. And I was assuming it kind of broke off in there, which it looks like it did.
Oh, good.
You might not be able to see it. There's the other end of it kind of stuck in there, so the guy just kind of made it work.
Oh, awesome.
Jeep style.
All right, well, let's see if we can get something better for you.
But yeah, we'll figure something out. So this little piece is kind of the bracketry that attaches to the bracketry on the carburetor. So what we're gonna do here? Well, okay. So here's what we found. So the line had broken right about here. And it goes into this threaded rod, or threaded tubing. And what they do is they crimp it to this tubing. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut where the crimp is, and we're going to move the line in, and we're going to crimp it again. See a little crimping right here? You can kind of see the line inside there. So we're going to try to take this out, and then put the line we have, the rest of the line, in here, and then recrimp it. So we got to do some precision cutting, some surgical cutting, and we'll get it to work. There we go. Alright guys, so we made our cut. I finished it off a little bit. We removed some of the burrs that was on the line originally. And now what we're doing, we just kind of pushing it right in. And I'm greasing the line and I'm pushing it through. I've already done it once to kind of see if it would go through, and it goes through pretty well. So I'm just putting on the grease for like this little countermeasure. Yep. You know, so
good corrosion
Right.
resistance
on my
and
galvanized wire.
on your galvanized wire.
Or cable.
Yeah.
Cable. But yeah, so that's what's up. We're gonna keep on pushing through. Actually, I'm way through.
Hey, you did it!
So we're good to go. We're probably
good
gonna
to
put
go.
this bracket on and attach it to the transmission. We finished snaking it through. We had to kind of jerry-rig some down here. So what's happening is this is the part that attaches to the switch, and the line goes through, and this goes through a pin, which goes through a lever on the switch.
And by the switch, you're talking about
The kickdown switch for the transmission.
which I believe is also the throttle valve.
Right. So what we did here is we just tied a knot to kind of hold it in here, and we really pulled it tight as we could. We're gonna see if this works. You have high hopes, but it just holds it on there. It shouldn't be too much force, and it doesn't really move a ton. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, attach to the switch, and we already have it routed up to the carburetor, and so we're gonna go ahead and attach that up there too.
And you might see a little bit of flex in the wire because that knot is tightening and or loosening, but overall I feel like it's going to be able to hold the forces that it'll see, and it should work for now. Might replace with a normal crimp later, but for now this is going to work pretty well. Alright guys, since the last time Taylor talked to you, a few things have changed. So he told you about the knot. There's the knot. And then the excess wire, we just, oh, we're getting out of focus. We just pulled back, twisted, and then we just crimped a little bit of metal on here. That's not going to hold any real force or weight, so we're not too worried about the crimp. It's just to keep the excess cable organized. Now, there was one other thing that we forgot to show you, and that's this thing right here. You can see Taylor's finger pointing at it. We've got 2 hose clamps and a little piece of, it's actually a vacuum line or whatever off my Jeep. So as this cable that he's touching right now goes in, it needs to be fastened to that bracket that you see there. Yep. And if it's not fastened to it, then the cable and the cable sheath can just walk around. And you really don't want that. It's just not going to work quite as well. The previous owner had electrical tape holding that, and that was bad. It was really, really gross. You guys know how I hate electrical tape. So yeah, so we put this little bit of hose on there and 2 hose clamps. It should be a lot more robust, but we will certainly see. The lip was kind of small. But hey, experimentation is always fun.
Alright guys, so it's going to be kind of hard to see, but this is the familiar end you've been seeing. What's going to happen here, this little hole, there's a pin that goes through here, and it goes through the eyelet of the switch, and there's a cotter pin that goes through that. That switch is, you might not be able to see that one.
We can see it.
Right here, you can see it. Well, actuates, there's a little spring attached to it, and that's where this little piece attaches to, and the pin goes through. So we're going to go ahead and put that through. Our little pin. Hope you can see that. And like so. There we go. Now we're on. So like this, you can see it's kind of attached that lever, and you got your spring here. That's what you want. So now the trick is going to be putting that cotter pin through that little tiny hole.
Wow,
I see just about as good as you guys, so it's going to be kind of difficult. We're in, guys. Woo. Alright. Oh, I can get out of here.
Look at that. Let's see if we can get closer. That's all the closer I can get. Okay guys, so same thing up here. We have to connect this, I'm just going to call it a sheath, a little liner or whatever for the cable is coming up here, and then we've got another one of these standoffs that actually screws to some bracketry on the carburetor. Again, this was broken, so we had another fun little challenge, and so we solved this one with a buttload of electrical tape. We'll see how that comes out as it gets liquidy in here with temperature, but hopefully hope for the best. Anyway, so some electrical tape, and then we took some metal benched around here and hose clamped that down to really form that union. The only reason the electrical tape's in there is because the diameter of this was too small for the hose clamp to get around it. So again, we're really hoping for the best of electrical tape, but this is going to give it a nice tight crimp, and hopefully it'll keep it in place. Otherwise, we'll be in here again.
Mm-hmm.
And while I got you here, this little bracket goes right here. Right there. Right there. And that's where that little screw from the very beginning went in. And then we're gonna have to route our cable through here, and that's when we'll conclude.
All right, guys. So we got the bracket in, put the sheet metal screw through, and it went on pretty well. So now what we're doing is we're running the line to the throttle bracketry they got going on here. And there's a little, and your carburetor might be different, but on the throttle arm, they put this little piece that sticks out with a hole in it, and it allows the line to go in and out for your adjustment. And then it has a set screw like this, and we're gonna have to tighten this once I get pulled through. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it through.
Hand me that.
All right, and now it's nice and tight. We'll do our tuning, and that'll be the next little segment of the video. Essentially what we did to tune this thing in, before all these things were screwed in, this was still loose, and we put our line through, and what we do is we pull this to open throttle, and right now it's gonna actually actuate that switch. But we're gonna pull this, and we're wide open throttle, and we pulled the line as tight as we could, and then I tightened it down. Then you release, and what I had Liam do, since I have another person here, he went ahead and just actuated the throttle some more. I'm gonna quit doing it so I don't pump more gas in my engine. He went ahead and did that, and I looked at the switch position, and I could actually watch it actuate to full open, and so that's pretty much how we adjusted it. A lot of these they have self-adjusting setups, and that you're gonna have to find out specifically how you do that with those. This one, I'm not sure if it's 100% correct or not, because I don't know what this guy had set up before, but there was really no slots, there's no anything for any sort of slack, so we just tensioned it completely and tightened it down. So we'll see how it works. We won't find out till we drive it.
Hey guys, so as Taylor said, all we were doing was we were trying to match the wide open throttle on the carburetor to the wide open throttle on the transmission, so that way the transmission understands the position of the throttle. That's all we're doing. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to see more about how to adjust those shift points on automatic transmission and kind of trick the transmission into thinking you're at a different throttle position than you actually are, then you can watch my other video. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But yeah, so I think this thing's going to drive a heck of a lot better, but we'll find out in just a couple seconds if it really did, and then we'll go straight to that testimonial from Taylor a couple days later from now.
Here we go.
Yeah, good, good, we did it. Jeeps.
All right, guys, so I've tested the kickdown cable in the Jeep. It's been a couple days, and it seems to be shifting a lot harder, so it seems to be working. So now I'm gonna continue to drive it. What we have noticed is it's still shifting a little early, but we have some plans for tuning, and I'm gonna do that, and it's gonna drive fine, hopefully. But it was a success. The kickdown cable worked. Give it a try.
Me too, and I'm confident that she'll think so too. And she'll be coming back, coming back, coming back.